There you go. Well, if you remember, we did this with roof by extrusion. We can always edit profile. And this is what we did. We created that element here and that roof. And then we we created a roof. We didn't create a roof. We just used this generic 12-inch or 1 foot roof. And we click this way and we have something with a thickness. Okay, that's a good way to do this. There are others. For example, if we go to one of the elevations, either the north elevation works, but we don't have levels on the north elevation. Why? When we don't have levels on the north elevation, I don't know, let's try. I don't know if this is too advanced. Here on the properties windows, you have something that we haven't used yet. This section, this scope box. We have the section box and the scope box. So I think we have to create one. Okay, we're not going to do that. But it bothers me. Why don't we have levels on this north elevation? We have the east. On the east we have levels. On the north we don't. Did I hide it? Okay. But someday you have to remind me of using the scope box because it might be useful. Not today, but it can be useful. Okay. What if we don't have this shape? So we are going to delete this one. But we do have the green element here. Well, we can always create the shape with the thickness and then create extrusion. I find the option of working with the roof easier, but I remember that last year I taught the other way. Okay, so I'm going to teach this way now. But to do this, first we need the thickness because when we're working with roof by extrusion, we just trace the green line, and when we finish the roof, we have the right thickness. And now we're going to work with a component, place a component, model in place, and then we will use extrusion, but then we need a closed line to do this. So the first thing we have to do is to create a closed line. We're going to work with this first because it seems easier, and then we will go with the curve because it looks more complicated. So let's try to do this here. So we have this green line as a reference, and now we're going to work with the component, model in place. What is this? Is this a wall? Is it a roof? Let's say that it's a roof. And I'm going to use extrusion, and I want to set the plane first. It's grid A. Okay, it's fine. If we look at numbers here, if we have numbers, then remember that the plane perpendicular to the numbers or parallel to the screen, it's a letter, so we can set grid A. And okay, so now I can start tracing this, or I can start picking lines. So I pick line, I pick this one, and this one. But now I have to create the thickness. So to create the thickness, I have to create an offset. So let's say that the offset is 1 foot. Here you can control the thickness of the offset. Okay. And then we have to go up. So if we hover the mouse here, we go down, but we want to go up. We want to go up. Here we want to go up. And here I think we want to go outwards. Out. Out. I will copy and move this 1 foot out. And then we need to close this. So we can close it using trim. And we have to close these 2 lines here. Okay. So now we have this closed element. We can click finish. And we finish model. We go to the 3D view and see what we have done. Okay. So on the 3D view, we have just created a slice of roof. But now moving these arrows, we can create the length that we need. Okay, so we can go to the level. Yes. Level 10, and level 20. Okay, we don't have roofs here. Why? Probably because in visibility graphics, roofs are not, well, they are. But, okay. And we can't see the roof. Okay. I should be able to see this from the top on some of the levels. It doesn't show up. Interesting. I don't know why we can't see this, because this is a roof, and with the other one, we were able to see the roof. No, we are not. Or because this is level 20, let's try level 30 or 40. We can go to view, plan views, floor plans. Let's work with level 40. Okay, with level 40, we do see the roof. Yeah, that makes sense because we were working with level 10 and 20, and that roof starts on level 20. Okay, so it makes sense. Okay, so I'm going to do it again. Architecture, component, modeling place, roof, set the plane, grid A, select extrusion, pick lines. So we have to pick this one, and this one, this one. Then we can create offset. Make sure that it's 1 foot. We go up, up, and we can go out. Doesn't matter because I can copy, copy. 1 foot out, then trim, and finally close it. We click finish and finish again. We go to level 40 and we know that we have to start on grid this one and we have to end here. Okay, so basically it's the same result, but with a different, they're both roofs because we have declared that this is a roof, but we have used two different tools. We have used roof by extrusion, or we have used this component modeling place. What is best, or well, this building is not that simple, and we cannot extrude this, so we will have to create voids. Because as I told you, this building is not just like this, not just an extrusion. Okay, so if we are going to create a void in one of these elements, probably this will work better than the roof, but we will find out later. Now, what if I want to do this? If I want to do this, then I have to work a little more with roofs. It seems easier using roof by extrusion. We are going to use a component. So first thing is open the north elevation. And we have to go up, but here we have to go up again. And yeah, okay. So let me do it and then I will explain it to you. So we're going to use a component, model in place. We have to use another roof. Okay, set, grid A, extrusion, pick lines, and now we are picking all the green lines. But here with these curves, there will be some issues. Okay. Now we can offset, we move this up, up, and here. But what about here? We have to move this up in this direction, and this out. Yes, what's this? So here we have to make up something because this is not working well. Now we have to connect this to this and this to that. So I think this is not working. This green line is not working. And we have to do something different, probably from here. Okay, so basically I have to connect this curve to this and this one to that. What did we do? I think we used the, did we use the spline or no? I think we used the center, the tangent. Okay, so I can go this way. No. Something like that. And then I can use the same thing here. Okay. I like the other, yeah, this is not completely parallel. Yeah, so I think I like the other option, the roof option better, especially when we have these kind of shapes that are not circles or rectangles or anyway, we can close this and that. And we can finish on the 3D view. Right here and on 40. Well, finish the model. And on level 40 it doesn't show up. It shows up in level 20 or level 10. Doesn't. I'm going to apply the view range unlimited and unlimited. now I can see it here and there. Okay, so apparently nobody will notice that this is not exactly, but I like the other option. Okay, so far you can do this both ways using either a roof by extrusion or architecture component. The result is the same, but since we are going to adapt our curtain wall to that shape, I think the other one was nicer. The other shape was nicer, or probably with a little patience you can do this as nice as the other one. But I'm going to undo everything. And this is it. Okay, so there are two ways to do this. And now let's work with the curtain wall. So first, analyze the building. And if we analyze the building, the curtain wall, you see that we have this concrete element. This is exposed, and then we have a curtain wall adapting to this curve, and then we have another curtain wall underneath adapting this. So there are two different, and we have even two different partitions to make clear that we have two different curtain walls. The mullions, the vertical mullions, don't match. So this is an element, and this is a different element here. Well, this is a challenge because we have to adapt this curtain wall to that shape. I don't think we used curtain walls in the other house because it was too simple, but here we do have curtain walls. So what is a curtain wall? A curtain wall is a wall, well, this is a curtain wall. So it's a large glass area made of vertical elements, horizontal elements, and then we have glass in the middle. If you want to learn a little about curtain walls, I am your man because I had a company that, well, we designed and built curtain walls. So there are basically three kinds of curtain walls. So we can use the curtain, the stick, the facade, curtain walls. Um, I want. Okay, so the stick facade is what we have in this building. We have vertical elements, we have horizontal elements, and then we have a glass pane in the middle. How do we build this? First, we need to build the frame, and then we place the glass. Okay, so we can see this. Yep. So we have a curtain wall in construction. There was a nice picture here. You see that first we have the frames, the vertical and the horizontal frames, and then we place the glass. Okay, so this is how this stick facade works. There's a different element. We can talk about unitized facades. So the unitized facade is a different concept. We build the element in the workshop, and then we place the element here. Okay, so this is much more expensive. It's much more reliable. And when we are building skyscrapers, we need these kind of elements because we cannot create a frame and then the glass. So everything comes here, and then you just place it on site, hanging it from the structural element. Okay, that this element itself comes from the workshop with the right measurement, and all the elements, the aluminum frame, the glass, everything is on it, and then you only have to place it. Okay. So this is more reliable because the more things we can do in a workshop, the fewer mistakes we will have on site. On site, the working conditions are tough. It can be raining, it can be. So if you prepare everything in the workshop and then you just bring this element into the site, then you place it and that's it. It's more expensive, but if you want to build, I don't know, what is the tallest building on Earth?
The Burj Khalifa.
Burj Khalifa. Yeah, have you been there?
I've never been there. I just heard of it.
Did something get taller than that though?
Sorry?
Isn't there something taller than that?
I think there's another. They're going to build. We will talk about this. They're going to build another even taller in Dubai, close to this building. Well, the Burj Khalifa, I've been there for 2 years, and this is it. I mean, you cannot create a stick facade for this building. This is it's 800 meters. It's half a mile, and yeah, so it's by far the highest building on Earth. These are skyscrapers in Dubai, so these are quite tall, but this is 3 times or 4 times as higher as the other ones. But I mean, when you are doing this, you need to work with the unitized facades. You can't work with stick facades because you cannot work half mile over the because it's very dangerous and there is not a crane able to do this. So when you are working with this kind of skyscrapers, you have to work with the unitized facade. Curtain wall, which is the spider curtain wall, which is this one. Okay, everybody loves this because it's very light. It doesn't have a structure, so you have a glass, and then you have these elements, and these elements hold the glass at the corners, that you don't see structural elements. So everything is like this. Okay, so it's everybody loves it. Because it's just glass. You don't have the mullions. It's quite expensive, and well, it's nice. I mean, it's nice. And probably this is Revit, so you need to find families like this so that you can build these kind of structures in Revit. Okay? Anyway, in this building, we're working with the Educatorium. We have the classical stick facade. Okay, so it's not a unitized building because it's a 3 or 4 floor building, so we don't need the unitized facade. And I think it's quite old, this building, and probably the spiders. Now the spider curtain walls are in fashion, but at this time in the 1990s, probably it wasn't something very popular. So we're going to stick to the stick facade, and where the only challenge is to adapt this curtain wall to this element, because we have this weird shape. And how can we do it? Well, first we need to decide what level we are working. We are working on level 10. Okay, so let's open level 10. And where are we? We need to know what grid. Okay, so we are in grid A0. We are not in grid A. We are in grid A0 because this is the ramp. Okay. So let's go to level 10 and let's use architecture, wall, and select the storefront. Okay. And now it doesn't matter where we start or where we end because we're going to change it. So let's create a line. And now let's go to the 3D view. And we do have this curtain wall. I don't know, are you doing this? Are you creating the curtain wall? Do you have mullions or is just the glass panel what you have here? Can you show me what you're doing?
Yeah, sure.
Could you do that again?
I'll do it again. Yeah. I want to show the kind of default curtain wall that we have here.
So it's level, this is the same as level 10.
Mm-hmm.
So insert.
Go to the wall. Click wall. And now click there. Yep. So
Oh, yeah.
yeah, there, and then go down to the storefront.
Yep. And let's take a look and see what this looks like.
Yeah, and now show me the 3D.
Okay, yeah, this one's just plain.
Okay, so you don't have any elements. Okay. Well, sometimes if you create a storefront, it comes with vertical and horizontal elements, and sometimes it doesn't.
Hey, Fernando.
Anyway, yes.
So I'm working in 2020 and I'm not seeing storefront as an option. So I went to load family. And the only thing in my curtain wall panels is an empty panel, a glazed panel, and a solid panel.
And do you have a curtain system here? Because here you see that we have wall, so we can either select storefront here in wall, or in architecture, we have a curtain system. You have
Yeah, I can do it from that, but when I pull down wall, it's not an option.
Okay, but this curtain system, yeah, we create a mask, and then we can create. Okay, no problem because we're going to do this in different ways. Okay, but the storefront. If you send me your file, I can create a storefront and then you can copy. Or I can send you a file with the storefront and then you can copy that in your file. Because it's not a family itself. I mean, you cannot insert a family. We have curtain wall panels? Yeah, but it's the panel itself. Yep. We curtain panel by pattern. No, this is not. Okay, the easiest way is that I can send you this file and then you can copy and paste, this curtain wall into your file and then you will have the family.
Okay, thanks.
Let me do this. I don't know why we are, because we have to align this to this grid. So am I working with the right grid? No, I'm not. Okay, so I'm working with grid A and it has to be grid A0. So I'm copying this here. Okay, and now on the 3D view, it's here. So we have to do two different things. First, we have to adapt the shape, and second, we have to create booleans and transitions. What can we do? Okay, so let's create the booleans and transitions first. You see that we can selecting curtain walls is tricky because you can select just this, or you can select the panel, or you can select everything. So make sure that when we are working with curtain walls, you select the curtain wall itself, not the panel, not the line, okay, but the curtain wall. And now we can edit type. If we edit type, here you see that we have vertical grid. Yeah. So here we have vertical grid, horizontal grid, and vertical mullions and horizontal mullions. And everything is none. Okay? It's none, so you don't have any element here. If we click here, the rectangular, there's rectangular and circular. Circular are very unlikely. So select the rectangular for vertical and horizontal mullions. So rectangular, rectangular, and rectangular. And now we apply, we click OK. And now we do have vertical and horizontal elements. Okay. Sometimes it comes by default. You have the vertical and horizontal elements activated with the rectangular. Sometimes it doesn't, and then you have to select the wall and then edit type. But be careful, because if you select just this element and you edit type, you are editing a different thing. You're just editing this element. You're not editing the curtain wall. Okay, so when you're working with curtain wall, you can always use the window, and here you have selected the mullion, the glass, and the curtain wall itself. So you can go to filter, and I don't want the curtain panel, I don't want the grid, and I don't want the mullion. I just want the wall. Okay, so now you make sure that you have selected the whole curtain wall. Anyway, now we have to look at what we have to do. If we look at this educatorium, I want an elevation. This is a section. Okay, that goes well. So this is an elevation. So you see that this curtain wall starts here, where this slope ends, and then it goes horizontally. Then it goes here. Here we have a double volume. So we have this weird shape, and this is exposed. This concrete slab is exposed. So what can we do here? Let's try. If you select the wall, make sure that you select the wall, we can edit profile. And if we edit the profile, we have this pink. So the starting point, we agreed, remove constraint, that is here, is where the slope ends. Okay. Now, we go, yeah, that's correct. But now we end this line here, and here we have another slopey element. So we can always create a line, and we can follow the slope. What happens here? I would use the peak lines, because if I choose this and this and this and this and that, now I'm sure that this element is matching the shape. So I'm going to do something crazy. I'm going to create this as one piece. I don't know if it will work, but let me try. So now we want to see this slab exposed. So we have to move it here, constraints, and then we have to move it there. And then we need to complete this shape with lines. So I can, don't worry, I'll do it again. I know that this is tough to follow, but I'll do it again. Here. Okay, so it has to be a closed loop. So now we have a curtain wall, that matches the, let's see if I finish, closed loops. Okay, I have something to delete here. And now if I finish, look, it works. Incredible. Okay, so we have created a wall. It doesn't matter the shape. And now we have adapted this wall, this curtain wall, to this shape. So this is the first option. So I'm going to quit. Okay. And first I can insert a storefront, and then I can edit type, and then I can adjust that shape to this. There's a different way to do that. Yes, there is. And now I'm going to work. So I'm going to do this by using the mass modeling. You remember that we used this massing and site. We created the contour lines, but last week I showed you how to work with this in-place mass. Okay, so Scott, if you don't have the storefront, I think with this option you will be able to do it. So let's work with in-place mass, but in-place mass. Okay. Okay. So first, we need to set the grid line in which we are working. And the grid line is going to be grid A0. Okay. So if we're working at grid A0, then we can trace this. I'm going to do something simple, not as complicated as the other one. So let's create a mass like this. Okay, first I'll trace the straight lines, and then I can always pick lines to do this. And now I have to trim because this has to be a closed loop. Yeah, it looks like it's closed. And now I can finish mass. Closed. Edit in place. Okay, I didn't close it. Finish mass. Okay, so we have created this mask. And now in massing and site, I can click on curtain system. I can click create system. And for, no, sorry, I have to select this. I have to edit in place. No. Curtain system. And we cannot select this. Why? Edit in place. Yep, I think there's a mistake with the mask that I have just created. What is the mistake? I don't know, but I'll do it again. Okay, let's do this. And let's do it again. So let's try something simple first. Let's go to massing and site, in place mass. Okay. Set. It has to be on grid A0. And I'm going just to create a rectangle like this. Okay. If I create a rectangle, yeah, I think this is what was wrong. I have to create form, solid form. And now I can finish mass. If I go to massing and site, curtain system, now I can select this face and I can create the system. Okay, I'll do it again, no problem. Cancel mass. Okay, I'm going to do something simple again, just a rectangle or something a little bit more complicated. So I will try to adapt this, but I won't do the curve yet because I think the curve is a headache. So let's go to massing, in place mass. Okay, set grid A0. And now we can start drawing. So I'm going to start here. And I'm going to do this, and this, and this. And we have to close. I think the first one wasn't closed, and that's why I had this problem. Okay, so I have to close this. Then I can create form, a solid form. Create form, solid. Okay. And now I can move it, let's say, in this direction. Okay, finish. And now I have a mass. And this mass can be anything. I have decided that I'm going to create a curtain wall, but now once we have the mass, I can go to massing and site, and I can create a roof, a wall, a floor, or whatever. I want to create a curtain system. So if I create the curtain system, make sure that you don't want to select this one, you want to select this one. And now you can create the system, and you have this nice element. Well, we will fix the directions in this one. Okay, so now this is the curtain system. I can get rid of the mass itself, and the curtain wall, it will stay there. And then I can edit type, and I can work with the mullions, and so I can create a rectangular. Okay. Now I have created only the verticals. But once I have this, I can work with the mullions. So I can continue to do this. I can create a complicated mass, but when we're working with masses, I wouldn't do this. I wouldn't do that complicated thing. So I would create different masses. So we can start creating another mass here. Are you trying this, Scott? Scott. Not there.
Sorry, I got Zoom on another screen. Unmuting is not easy.
Oh, no problem. No, I mean, are you trying this or?
I am trying this, and I did find the other one. I just had not clicked through one level, so I'm trying them both.
I'm going to do it again. So I created this wall now. I'm going to try to do this one. Okay. So it's in place mass. Okay. Set A0. Where is A0? Here. And now I can trace this one And when can I pick lines? Can I pick this one and that one and this one? Yes. And then I can continue to do this up to this point. I have to make sure that it's closed. I think it is. Now I select, create a solid form. Yeah, now the solid form is in the right direction. Finish mask. And now I can go to massing, curtain system. I can select this, create. Okay. And now I can delete the mask because I don't need the mask, I just need the curtain wall. Okay, I'm going to do it again, but now I'm going to create a mask that has this shape here. I'm going to, okay, so I'm going to do this, in place, okay, set A0, and now I'm going to trace this. I think it's closed now. Now I select, yes, it's closed. Create form, solid, drag it the other way. And now I can finish, and I can go to curtain. I select this one, create a system. Okay, now when we're doing this, I can select the, yeah, make sure that we select the whole curtain wall. So I want to select the curtain system, apply, and now by editing type, I can select the spacing. I can select either fixed distance or fixed number. If you select a fixed number and apply, now here you can decide the number of mullions. Number, let's say 8. Well, I have selected the number of horizontal mullions. I wanted to select the number of the vertical ones. Okay, so if I select this, I edit type, I am in grid, okay, so grid 1 and grid 2. This is the fixed distance. I want fixed number. And now on grid 1, I can select 8. Yeah, that works. Okay, I'm going to do it again. But now I'm going to work with this one here. And this one, as you can see in the, okay, so this is tilted. So I can do this one, this shape, But now this shape is tilted. So this is what I'm going to do now. I'm going to go to in place, set grid A0, and I start tracing this curtain wall that starts here. And now we don't go vertically, we have to go with this angle. There you go. Now I select this, I create a solid form, and it goes all the way up to this point. Okay, I finish, and now I can create a curtain system. First, this one, create system, then that one, create system. Well, I'm not very happy with this one, but probably the grid, I think grid 1, it was, I can make it 10. And I'm sure I can control the angle, but well, I'll find out later. Okay, what do you think? Is it a nightmare, or do you like it?
Franken-curtain.
Sorry?
Franken-curtain.
Yeah, I think I have more control with the option of creating a storefront and then editing the shape. With this massing inside, I can control the angle. Well, probably I can if I edit the type, and there should be a way to control the angle. Grid 1, fixed number. Yeah. Oh, so here we have the angle, grid 1. Yep, I can control the angle here. Both angles, this one. And when I'm done with this, I can always delete the mass. So that's the beauty of this. So I don't have a mass that I don't need. I just need to work with the curtain wall, and that's it. But remember that we're not done with the building, so there's a lot of work to do. But if we work with level 0 and we place a camera, here. With this little work, we have something. Okay, so this is pretty much this. Yeah, so we can introduce more details, but we're almost there. As we have these structural elements inside, and we can add furniture, but the main shape of the building is there. Once you have the envelope, you have this element, and then you have the curtain walls. So we're almost. Well, that's because this is the corner in which this building is defined, and I think there are other pictures. Anyway, just by doing this shape that we know how to do, and the curtain walls, and now we know how to do the curtain walls. I think for this exterior view of the building, we're done with it. And now we can start rendering or using Photoshop or whatever. But by the end of today, we can have a nice picture of this building, and we have been working on that building for a couple of hours. So that's the beauty of Revit. You don't have to work thousands of hours to have something nice. You have to work thousands of hours to define a project like this, because now we need plans, sections, elevations. But if you would just want to take a nice view of the idea, if you want to show this to your design teacher to say, okay, I'm thinking of something like that. I'm not sure of what I want, but I want a shape like this. And yeah, so with little effort, I think you can do something good. And if you work with the right sun settings, it will be even better. So that's good about using masses, because with a mass you're not. Yeah, you can create complicated things very easily, and then you have this tool of turning this into walls or roofs or curtain walls or curtain systems, and just by clicking you have something that, oh, it looks like a building. Yeah, so that looks like a building. Okay, so we have started with two complicated features, which is this. Okay, we have created this folded shape. We have used two different tools. We have done this using the architecture component model in place, or we have used this by roof by extrusion. For this kind of shape, I think the roof by extrusion, it's easier, and results are, I think it's better, especially with this weird shape here. And then remember that we have created curtain walls with two different options. We can create a wall, and then we can select the storefront, or we can just use a massing inside. If we're working with curtain walls, we can always, here we have curtain wall, exterior glazing, and storefront. If we just select curtain wall, and we do this, and we go to the 3D view, okay? So this is what we usually, when we are looking at design, this is what you usually do. So you create a curtain wall. Okay, that's fine because this is glass, but it's not feasible. So we cannot have an element like this. We can always work with this element even if you don't have the storefront. So that's the third way to do this. You can create this plain curtain wall, just the glass without anything. And then we can start creating a grid. And you see that if we are hovering the mouse here, we have vertical grids. And if we are with the mouse here, we have the horizontal grid. Okay, so we can always define, and then we can create a mullion. And we can create at grid lines, everything. Okay, so even if we are working with our now every time we create a grid, the grid line, and now we can create mullions at all grid lines. And we can always select the wall, we can edit profile, and then we can change the shape of this. Now we can trim. Okay, so this tool is very flexible, but we always need some structural element. It can be this with mullions and transoms. It can be the spider, or but please, when you are working with curtain walls, do not use just this glass and that's it, because this is not feasible at all. We need partitions, and partitions make the project better. So it's not something that is spoiling your project. On the other, no, on the contrary, if you create partitions, it looks better. Okay, so now you have different ways to create the curtain walls. What would I do here? I think the best would be for this one. We need the massing and site. Do we need the massing and site? Well, there's a way to do this without the massing and site component, but I think if we have tilted surfaces, it's the easiest way. So we can create this, and then we select the massing and site curtain system, we select it, and then we can create the curtain wall. For this one, I don't know, I think I would use the architecture wall. If you don't have the storefront, I think I'm in the middle of, okay, well, okay, that's interesting. If you are using walls, you have to work with levels. So you cannot work in the 3D view or in the elevation view. You have to work with levels. So you have to switch to one of the levels, and then you can start with the wall there. And then on the 3D view, this is the wall. I would edit the profile. And by editing the profile, then I'll start working with the actual shape of this element. Here. This. Remember that if we have these curved elements, we can always pick lines. And continue. It is not closed. No, I have to move this. Okay, I think it's closed now, so I can finish. Yeah, so you have this, and now I would create the grid. Thing is that if you create this grid, okay, so let me do this. I'm creating this grid. I want this to be at the same distance, and I'm doing this randomly. Okay, and now if I go to annotate, no, I can't. Okay, now, I cannot annotate because I need to go to the elevation. Now I can annotate, and then I can select all these grid lines. EQ. Now all the mullions are the same distance. And now I go to architecture, mullion, but all grid lines. Okay, you can see that I have made a mistake here, but I can always select the things that I have to select. The whole curtain wall, filter. Now I can edit profile. Yeah, I have to move this up. Go. I think this is the best option because I can control everything. I can control the shape of the wall. I can control the distance of the mullions. So I feel comfortable with this option. But anyway, this is up to you. And I don't want you to do exactly this, so I don't mind. You can, but the good thing is that this is interesting. You have to create a grid for this and a different grid for that one. Okay, so I need to make sure that these two elements are different. Yeah, but I think this is the best option. You can use the wall, a plain wall without a storefront, just a plain curtain wall, not the storefront one. And then you can, by doing this, then you can start first selecting, editing the profile. And then working with the grid. The vertical, the horizontal. In Revit, you can edit anything. You don't have to, and here you can add or remove segments. So we can remove that segment. You see? So you select add or remove segments, and you select this one, and it's not there. So there's nothing you can do. And when you're happy with your design, then we can always create mullions at all grid lines, and then we can do this. Okay, so I want you to be creative with this. You can try to replicate this one, or you can try something new. But there are a lot of options with curtain walls. And I think this option is better than the massing and site. Can we do it without the massing and site? I think so. Let me try. I'll open the north elevation, and I'm going to create a reference plane, but a reference plane that is tilted like this. Okay. And then can I work on this reference plane? I think so, but we need a name. Reference plane 1. On the 3D view, the reference plane is going to be there. So can I go to architecture, wall, curtain wall, and can I set, no. No, I thought that by using a reference plane, I can set the curtain wall on that reference plane, but apparently I can't. Probably I can use the in-place mass and then I can set this on the reference plane, and then I can create a solid form. Yeah. No, I don't like this option. Okay, so today we have been working with curtain walls. I think it's worth it, especially if you can create your own design. So do not use the storefront when you want to cover like a large area with glass. Do not use just glass. Try to design your own curtain wall, and then your building or your design will be something unique. So try to, and don't go crazy with patterns. I mean, I don't want you to do crazy ideas, but if we and copy, so try to this is not for this course, but if you're working in design courses and you want to do something, okay, so take a look at pictures and you say, okay, I want to do this. The Young Walking Young Wonder store. Okay, if you want to do this and you don't know how to do it, get back to me and I'll figure it out, because it's not it's just working with a curtain wall, and we only have to figure out how to do this grid with these rhomboids, because those are not squares or rectangles. So try to come up with ideas and make your designs unique. If you use the default Revit storefront, well, that's good for just to start. But if you want to go further, then you have to find your own families or your own design. So, and there's always a way to do it. Okay, so it can be simple like this, or can be, but there are a lot of options, and there are a lot of things that you can copy. If you have these curved elements, probably using masses would be the right option. You can try this now. Imagine that we are working with massing inside, in place mass, and now I'm going to set this on level 0. Okay, and I want to work with a shape that is curved. Like this. Then I select it, I create a solid form, okay, finish mass, and now I can go to curtain system. I can select this, this, and this, create a system, and I have a curtain wall with this shape. Okay, so this tool of massing and modeling is quite useful, especially if you want to work with curves. Can we do the same with the wall tool? We can go to architecture, wall, and you can work with a curtain wall that is spline. Well, we can start with this, and we can switch to curves. What have I made? Wall, tangent. Well, look at this. With curtain walls, with walls, we can't do these kind of shapes. Mm. Because if we work with grids, okay, look at this. If you're working with grids, you can adapt this to a curve. Okay. So if you don't have grids, this is like a straight line. But if you work with grids, no, that won't. I think in this case, the mass is better, basically because here we can change the number easily. And we can adapt it better to the curve.